I don't know. It's
Favorite diet?
nothing bad, I just kind of.
Sponsored graduate research assistant in the fiscal year.
It's probably the least I've understood. I was sort of by over.
Okay.
Engagement consultant.
Well, everybody, thanks for coming out today. I will not take us any more time. We've got an exciting talk where we were asked the question, hopefully not rhetorical, what if you never had to pay your bills again? And you probably should, and are not dead. So without further ado, I will give you an answer.
All right, guys, so as I talked to friends just minutes ago, I am an experienced math club speaker here. So if you don't know me, I'm Antsa, and yeah, I left the socially by this because that's my husband's last name, but academically and legally I still have my dad's last name. So don't be confused if you see different names. I also go with the different like pseudo in our area, but yeah, I'm Antsa, and this slide is, you can download this slide at this QR code right there, and it's also going to be on my personal website. So let's get started. So picture this. You have Bob and Charlie like right there. Let me hide myself because I shouldn't be there. And here's Alice very happy. And what happened is those two guys, they both owe Alice $100 each. And Charlie is not that good of a guy. And he wants to do whatever it takes so that he will not pay Alice. And he found a way. So when Bob deposits money to the bank in the name of Alice, and the Bob say, oh, it's verified, Bob deposited money, and Bob say, yes, I don't owe Alice anything anymore. Charlie said, hey, I paid you this, verify that this transaction is actually mine. So what would you do? And what would you feel if you are in each of those people's place? So who wants to share? What do you feel? Whether you are Bob, Charlie, the bank, or Alice.
So to understand,
Mhm.
Bob paid Alice by
Yes.
depositing money in her account, but Charlie claims that it was not Bob, but
It was him.
him.
And they also run some verification. It was verified as though it was incorrect.
Well, sure, Alice is just happy, right? Right, and those two have to sort it out.
Yeah.
But she's $100 short, right?
Yes.
So far, but whether Bob paid or no part paid, it'd still be $100
I think
short.
they should all engage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be it for you.
You.
All right. So yeah, that's what. Yes, definitely. Alice is gonna be $100 short. At least Bob will be like shaking. Will it be sorted out or not? The bank is gonna be like, oh, I definitely messed up. I don't know what to do. I don't know what the resolution in a case like this. Maybe the bank has to pay Alice at the end. We don't know. And you may be wondering how a situation like this might happen. And you might say like, yeah, but if you just have everybody who deposited money into a bank account needs to go there in person and present their ID and take their pictures and do all of this, that kind of things will never happen because the banker will know whether it's actually Bob or Charlie that was there. But we know that that's not the case. We are like in the digital era right now, and everything is done online. and you don't like verify your identity every time that you make payments or something like that. We use algorithms, and when we use algorithm, that's when we can have something like vulnerability. And how to hide this? Okay, so that's my question here. Are black hat hackers smarter than us? Those people who steal money, which like the case of Charlie. And the fact is, what happens is when we have like algorithms and they are going to be published. Like this is the algorithm that we are used for this application. As a hacker, what people are doing is like understanding what are the weaknesses of this algorithm and see different attacks, and then looking where those algorithm is like misused or applied, and they are trying to take advantage of that as people are trying like to patch those software. So it's kind of like just they are basically taking the low hanging fruits. So we need both to protect ourselves, but also we need to be aware of what's happening. So that's basically what we are going to be talking about today. So, okay, so the thing that I'm talking about right here is an actual, like I say, the real world threats. So it's the situation, a situation like this existed, but not like in the in like my fictional anecdotes. So in 2015, there is a guy named Andsa who found a vulnerability to a draft of the Acme protocol, and that is the protocol authority that that is giving certificates that approve certificates for many internet websites, many domains. And yeah, so that might have been impacted out of our internet, and I'm gonna show you how was the attack and why it works. So the reason is that the RSA digital signature doesn't have exclusive ownership feature. And if you don't know what RSA is, if you don't know digital signature is, if you don't know what exclusive ownership feature is, that's gonna be my next part. So get ready. So 4,000 years ago, people started using asymmetric encryptions to secure their data. So you can think of it as a safe. So when you have a safe, everybody who knows the code of the safe can open it, store their valuable object in there, and close it. And for that, everybody that can put something there can remove something there, because the code to open is the same as the code to close. And for a very long time, that was the only possible way to store data securely. But in 1975, we had public key encryptions. So with that, we can receive, it's like, it works like a mailbox with a hole. I don't know, I didn't check what the name of the hole that you can put there is called, but basically everybody can throw away an envelope there, and only the person, the owner of the mailbox, can open it, and also the mailman, right? But we are not gonna speak about the mailman for right now. So if everybody can put a mail in your mailbox, how do you know it's actually that person is what wrote it? And if it's a real, if it's a paper, it's a physical paper, you can see like, okay, the signatures and everything like that. And in like digitally, we are using digital signatures to verify that it's actually Bob that sent this. So Digital signatures is that sets of algorithms that can put that stamp verify that's truly Bob who sent this mail to us and not somebody else. So how does the digital signature works? We can think of it as a system of 3 algorithms working together. Next, in later part, I'm gonna have an actual example, but this is like the general framework. So the first part is the key generator algorithm. So we have as input a randomness C, and it's going to generate a pair of key. This one, the silver one, which is like the cheat key, that's going to be called the verification key or public key. This gold one, that's the secret key. And what is relating them is that when you have this silver key, it doesn't give you any information about this golden character, so we can say that they are related by a 1Y function. So now the signature generation algorithm takes this gold key with any message that you have, and it produces a signature. That's why it's called signature generation. And now you can send your message with that signature, and you can broadcast it all over the world, and people have your cheat key, your silver key. So now the verification algorithm, which is accessible to everybody, takes as input the silver key, your message, and the signature. And once it's going here, it's gonna give you either it's verified, which is 1, or not verified, which is 0. So that's how a digital signature works. So when we are creating digital signatures, we have some properties that we say we really need. So first of all, we want to have many possible keepers. If not, everybody is going, a lot of people will end up with the same keys, and everybody will be able to say that they are somebody else that they are not. So we don't want that. Second, we need to be, as I said before, if you have a verification key, it should be part of the secret key. And the third thing is we always want a legitimate sender to always verify. Like that should always be okay. And we should have like a negligible chance of creating a valid signature when we don't know the secret key, even if we have unlimited resources. So these are the standard security notion that we usually think of is this existential unforgeability under chosen message attack. What that means is even if you can request some Bob to send many messages of your choice, you should never be able to create a signature passed from this. That's the UFCMA. And this next one is the strong unforgeability under chosen message attack. It just means even if you can ask Bob to sign that given message, you should not be able to produce a second signature that also verified. So those are the standard properties that we require for our digital signature. And for a lot of applications that we are using them, those are like good enough. So the next one is the desirable properties for signature schemes. So the first one is we want our signatures schemes to have a resistance against side channel attacks, but in most cases, we don't care about that because side channel attacks means somebody has access to your physical device. And in most cases, that's not the case. So those are just like not required, but desirable. And what we are mostly talking about here is we say buff security. Those are called beyond affordability features, and those are exclusive ownership, message bound signature, and non-resignability. And just to let you know, the fact that a digital signature doesn't have this doesn't mean that they are bad. What you need to do is to use an algorithm that is fit to your applications. And we are going to see next what happens when we use something that doesn't fit. So this is the how the Acme protocol works. So let's say we have Alice here. So Alice wants her domain to be certified. So she's going to send a certificate, this message. So she's going to say to the certificate authority, give me this certificate. And the certificate authority is like, okay, we know that that's your public signature. Sign this data and upload this signature here. So now Alice signed the data and she uploads the signature to her website. Now the certificate authority download the signature from the website. And then the certificate authority can verify this. And then the certificate authority said, like, okay, this is a valid certificate. You are the actual owner of that website, Alice. Good job. So the idea of that is, if you are the owner of the domain, you could always create a path and upload a file. And also, if you are the owner of a verification key, you can always produce a signature that verifies under the given key. So if Alice is both the owner of that verification key and that domain, Alice should be able to provide like a signature to be attached to that domain in particular. But fact is, those are correct statement, but the converse are not necessarily true, except if our signature scheme that is underlying the protocol is as the exclusive ownership property. So this is the attack that Andrew Ayer found. So he was gonna say to the certificate authority, hey, I want to recover this, but it's actually mine, but something wrong happened. And the certificate authority is saying, okay, you just have to send this and upload the signatures to your domain. And this is an automated thing, so they are always gonna send the same file. But if he's not the owner, but he knows that this is like the path that it requires, and Alice already verified before, so this file already exists in Alice's domain. So instead of creating a new signature, Eve downloads the signature. So Eve downloads the signature, and then she crafts some malicious key pair, which is going to be gonna verify the signature. So and then she is gonna be issued a certificate for the domain. So now she can claim ownership of the domain because it's now verified. And this malicious keeper that she has here, it doesn't need to work with anything that Alice has signed before. You only need to have it once because you only want to claim ownership to that domain. And the process being automatic is like a very big key part of this to work. And as I said before, it's not a key recovery attack. We don't care whether the other signatures verify or not. So let's see what the design of the RSA signature and see how we can craft malicious keepers for RSA signatures. So here is Bob, and for RSA signatures we have as secret key 2 large prime numbers, P and Q. And as our public key, we are gonna have N, which is the product. And if P and Q is large enough, it's going to be very difficult to factor N. So that's why it's kind of like a one-way function. So unless you know N, you will not be able to compute the totient function, Euler's totient function of N. So when you are going to be signing a message, you take this message right here, you put it inside of a hash function, and then you are going to sign it by taking the hash value and you take to the power of d, which is this function that is related to your public function using this property right here. And when you verify, you are just going to verify that you're just gonna need to take the message again and basically rehash it again and verify if you get the same thing. So that's how RSA work. So when you look at this, you can see that at this verification part, you don't require the public key to be put here. So even though the public key and the private key will be like if you start from the public key and the private key, what you need to do is just like hash the message and solve this, verify this. And this part right here, the hash of the message, it doesn't have anything to do with the public key. So what we can do is, first of all, you can have a trivial attack. So basically, if you just put E is equals to D is equals to 1, then you can just, when you are performing this signing, you don't do anything. When you verifying, you don't do anything. So what that means is, no matter what you're gonna have, that's always gonna verify because you didn't do anything. And if a real person is going to look at this and it's like, no, that's not a normal key. Nobody is going to have like their public key to be 1. That's not the key, but this is automated. And there are some implementation of the RSA algorithm, which also happen to be the one that the Acme protocol used. They accept this trivial attack. So it can do that. There is also like a not so trivial attack. So when we are talking about the discrete log algorithm, which is the base of the Diffie-Hellman key exchange, we know that the discrete log is a hard problem for some n values, but for this not so trivial attack, you can find like an n, which you just need to put it very small, and you can solve this log here because you already know what is m, you already know what is the signature, because that's the things that you need to verify. So you just solve that discrete log problem for this small n. And again, if a person is gonna look at this, you can say like, oh, that's not a normal SAP. Why is n so small? But this thing is automated, so nobody is checking it. And also, okay. Let me drink for it. Yeah, so this not so trivial attack, even though a person will gonna catch that it's not a normal one, it will be accepted by the implementation that didn't accept this trivial attack, because you are just gonna have like still random looking numbers, just that they are small. So that's what the vulnerability that was found, and good news for us, it's already been hash, so that is not the protocol that we are using right now. It's already been fixed. So now let's talk about how does the buff security for post-quantum signature scheme. So take before that was in 2015. So you may be thinking, okay, people who are doing cryptography, they are following the news, right? Right? So you should know all of the attacks and vulnerabilities that happens in the recent year. And turns out, no. Like I don't read like papers that is less than let's say 6 months unless I am doing something like a math lab talk. So I know the recent news, but not the so old one. So in 2021, this researchers Cameron and Val showed that some of the NIST candidates, they don't have the malicious, strong, universally exclusive ownership features. So, and also, this other researchers also were looking for the additional NIST candidates. If you have never heard about those, I said before, RSA is based on the difficulty of factoring. Diffie-Hellman is based on the difficulty of the discrete log problem for large n. But once the quantum computers is become efficient, they will be able to break those two. So that's why we need to prepare for post-quantum era where we have those available, and we need to prepare for now because people can just like collect signatures or collect encrypted data, and that's like store now and decrypt later. So that's a threat that we are thinking about. But also when you are like doing a very big change, like going from algorithm to other types of algorithms, those process is not it's not fast. You need to take time because you have already a lot of algorithms that you use that depends on something like RSA and Diffie-Hellman, and you need to change a lot of things before you will be able to use the new algorithm. So that's why we need to prepare for now. But yeah, some of these candidates, they don't have the exclusive ownership. So what should we do? And these researchers, which those are those people, and I looked at their website, they say, okay, guys, you created algorithms that are good and like they verifies the unforgeability and the chosen message attack for even for under quantum adversaries. But they don't necessarily have those both features. Here is a cure, and this is like it's like a magic trick. And once you see it, you are gonna think like, why didn't I think about this? So the magic potion to make any digital signature, whether it's classical like the RSA, and or it's gonna be like post-quantum signatures, the magic potion that can make them have the buff securities features is cryptographic hash functions. And remember, those are already used in the RSA verification. Those are already components of signature schemes. So cryptographic hash functions, I usually say hash functions, but this week when we were doing, I think it was last week when I'm taking data structure and they were talking about hash tables and hash functions, and turns out that's a different thing in data structure. So I want to make sure to put cryptographic hash functions. So it's an algorithm that take an input of any length and produce a fixed length digest. So here we can look at the SHA functions, and we can just, I don't know what I am typing, but we can generate it, and you see, we can have, this is very short, but here we have 256 bytes long hash function. And then if I just do Q, if I am gonna do, I don't know what I'm typing, which clearly is longer than this, it's still the same length. So for the cryptographic hash functions, it is deterministic. So what that means is if you put a single, if you put the same input twice, you're gonna get the same result. And the output looks random. As you see before, it is not related to, it doesn't look like it's related to the input that we put there. And when it's a pre-match resistant, which means it should be computationally infeasible to go from the hash value to go back to the input. The next big property is collision resistant. We say that we can take any length and produce a fixed length. So for sure, we need to have duplicates. But for cryptographic hash functions, we want them to be very difficult to find two things that get the same output. And we also require cryptographic hash functions to have avalanche, which means even if you have like a tiny little change of the input, the output should not be the same. So let's just say this is like my name. Oh, that's not my name. So if you have, I don't know what I'm writing. Okay, this is it. So, okay, remember this. That's how it looks like. Now let's change this into a lowercase letter. You see, you don't even know that those are related to begin with. So that's a very big property of cryptographic hash functions. So how can we use them to apply? I'll apply them to get both security. So again, we are going to have the key generations. It's going to be the key generation algorithm of the original signature that we want to transform. It's the same. And when we sign, here is the magic happens. You actually take the hash value of the message and you are gonna put it together with the public key. So that's where the magic does happen. So now, when you verify, you also need to take the hash of the message with the public key and you verify as with your original signature scheme. So everything is the same except when you are hashing the message, you don't just hash the message, you hash the message appended with the public key. So why can't you now make up any malicious key? Just because now if you want to find an alternate key, you need to find like a collision or a second pre-match on this hash functions right here. So we already say that that's not possible. So now when we apply this magic potion, what we have is exclusive ownership, which means if I can sign and verify under my signature, but if also you find a signature that's verified, you are sure that it's only me that can verify. It's only my public key that is going to verify with that signature. Nobody else can claim my domain anymore. Next is message bound signature. About this is like you can also for some signature scheme before applying this box security, you can have Bob sign a message and give a signature, it's verified, but somebody is going to craft another message which Bob didn't say, and then he said like, okay, this was Bob. Look, verify is the same as the signature that Bob signed, but it was not the original message. So that also is it will not happen if you apply this, because here it also requires the hash of a message. The message is going to be one of the input of the hash functions. And also you will not be able to get to resign a message. By resigning means somebody without knowing the message just crafting another signature that is also going to verify with that signature. So they don't know the secret key, they don't know the message, but they just say like, just see the signature and the public key and craft something that's verified under it. So those are all something that we don't need to worry about as long as we apply the this security, this magic potions. And here are the related papers. If you are interested in learning this topic, that's what that's the main paper that I read. It's called Puffin Signature Schemes Beyond Unforgeability and the Case of Post-Quantum Signatures. And they actually go through different schemes and like how does the transformations affects the efficiency of the signatures, and they show that it doesn't affect much. But what we really want is something that was already by design to have the buff signatures. And this is another paper which also look at the other additional signatures that is built on the MPC in the head framework, and they give like a study of 9 of those. And this next one, I don't know why it's truncated, but the name of this paper is Keeping Up with the Camps, which I am not aware of Americans pop culture, but my advisor say that it's a funny title because it sounds like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but I don't know about that. So I don't know why it's funny. But yeah, this is basically talking about kind of like related notion, but instead of signatures, they were looking at key encryption methods. And look, it's the same people who created this premise, who created this transformation that also did the same here. And they were like, oh no. Yeah, so to wrap up, we need to be aware of like our objectives when we are creating a software and we want to use cryptographic function in there. What are the features of these cryptographic functions and what do I want from it? So we need to be very careful about misuse. If you found a vulnerability, sometimes what you think as a vulnerability is not a vulnerability, it's just a feature. But you need to make sure that you use the most adapted to your thing. And that's why I also say about use case. And most importantly, be aware of latest attacks. And I thought I'm gonna get the full 15 minutes of talk, but today my talk was 40 minutes. And thank you guys for listening today. And
I don't think anybody's ever been booed for being 10 minutes short. Any questions? Any questions?
you can also give comments.
Okay, I have one question. When you were talking about the magic potion, right?
Mhm.
You say that it can happen that two inputs have the same output. Is that a problem?
Okay, where is that? This part right here.
This one?
Okay, so as I said before, since we have fixed length, we know that collisions exists.
Exactly.
Those always exist, but what we don't want is for people to find them. We want it to be very small probability.
Yeah, but when we're verifying, if you have one output that correspond to two inputs. I mean, how does that work?
Okay, so
We just hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I'm being serious, like. If it happens, then it breaks down. Exactly. Well, typically ideally you would make the hash larger than, like the number of outputs larger than the number of inputs, like this data structure is reasons why, but. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
can you go back to the question again? I think it was
yeah, but
like, what was the question again?
when you say that when you apply the magic potions, yeah, we
Yeah.
can have the same output for two different inputs, right?
Yes,
So when we are verifying, how do we know if that output is related with which one of the two inputs?
you shouldn't be able to know.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
Other questions, comments, discussion? All right, well, I will, let's thank the speaker again. Used up for next week. I actually have a colleague of mine that's coming in to visit, who will also give my community algebra class, so he's gonna give kind of a special presentation there. But in math club, he is going to talk about nuggets. So I will let that tantalize you while you figure out what I'm talking about, and maybe I'll see you next week. All right, y'all have a great weekend.
What? They talk about it, I can make that. Although yeah, the math plus one. Is that what it is? If it's an algebra first. Wow, that's an old picture. I think for last year, I remember that it happened. I don't know. I don't know if I showed up to that one. I think I might have been out of town.